Look at this. Got the roof coming down here, and then you can see we got some kick out flashing here. That's great. Push the water into the gutter and not into the siding, but God, we overcut the siding and just left this open right here. So water's gonna come up here on the kick out flashing and just go right in there. I like what you're trying to do, but you gotta finish the job. There they did it correctly. They overcut it still, but they sealed it up with caulking, and so no water's gonna get in there. But this, oh, I do not like that. Let's talk about the soil level around your house for a second. The soil level around this house is very, very high. As a matter of fact, it's covering up the entire bottom course of the brick. You can see here's a weep hole here. So the soil is up and over the weep holes. I bring this up a lot in relation to termite intrusion. This gives just a super highway where termites can enter through the weep holes. They don't even have to climb up anything. They just go right in your house and start causing damage. But not just termites. Carpenter ants, not even just wood destroying insects, any type of insects, spiders, any type of ant, all kinds of insects can get right in your house. It's just a highway for them to get in there. Also, moisture can come right in now. And that's supposed to be a pathway for moisture to get out. Not only can it come in, but it can't get out if it gets back there. It really is best to try to keep the soil below the weep holes of your house. And really, on a brick veneer house like this, you need about 4 inches of foundation exposure. If you can't quite get that, I definitely recommend some periodic termite treatment as well as general insect treatment. But for the moisture reason, it's really best to just clear the soil out. Hey, let's talk about carpenter bees for 1 second. Check it out. This is a locust. Actually, it is the molt, like the shell of a locust. That's nothing. Okay, this though, do you see this stuff? This is called frass. It's actually probably sap that has come out of this hole. Why does this hole exist? Because a carpenter bee has gone up in there and drilled that hole, and he was living up in this piece of wood there. Although less common than termites or carpenter ants, carpenter bees do a lot of damage, and we definitely have them out here. Oftentimes you'll see them near a fence, or they'll just drill holes all underneath the soffit like that, just like the one I showed you over there. But many of them, they'll leave the frass all over the walls, and it's kind of difficult to get off. But yeah, they'll just drill these holes. They're almost perfect round holes. They look like a drill bit has drilled them, but it was a carpenter bee. They drill up in there, and then they live and nest inside that wood. They actually don't eat wood, they just nest inside of it. And here's what I found inside the house. He's dead, but that is a carpenter bee. Let's talk about something good for a change. I really like a lot of things that are going on inside this panel. For one, they've mounted it correctly. So it comes out here flush with the drywall, and so the panel cover fits on really well. I particularly like these Eaton boxes because these type of screw holes here, you can just hang it right on there, and all you have to do is loosen the top ones, and once you've taken these out, you can slide it right down and then put it right back up easily. So I like that, but what the electrician has done in here, I really like. I like that we label these circuits so that we know what they do. I'm not real sure why not all of them are labeled, but I really love it whenever they do this. This is just nice, clean work, and I really like it. This bonding screw right here, I do wish it would be removed. This is actually the secondary means of disconnection. So that bonding screw, they don't have it set in place, so it's not doing anything, and that's great, but I would rather it just come out so that there's no confusion here and no one ever thinks that they should tighten that, because it should not be tightened. But I really like what's going on here. Let's talk about these type of shower windows for a second. I get it, natural light in the shower stall area. Well, that's awesome, right? But the problem is, people like to put things up here like shampoo and soap and things of that nature. And I oftentimes find them in this condition where they have not sealed anything here. And then we have open areas, like they didn't even get any grout here. Really, although I see this grouted better sometimes, I really like to see a bead of sealant here to keep any moisture from getting back here inside the wall cavity. I want to talk to you a second about mislabeled breakers. This isn't a huge problem, but it can be a safety issue. If someone was out here turning off a breaker that they thought controlled something, only to find out that that circuit was still live, that could obviously cause some injury to that person. And so breakers should be labeled correctly. Let me show you what I'm finding today. So we have two 240 volt circuits. One's on a 35 amp breaker, one of them's on a 30. Usually the one that's on a 30 that is GFCI protected is going to be the dryer. And then this one means that it would be the AC condenser. But if we look over here, it says that 2 and 4, 2 and 4 here is the AC, and 5 and 7 is the dryer. However, if I hit this GFCI reset button, and now we go inside in the laundry room, which is right here, you can see I have my tester plugged in, and we got no lights on it whatsoever. So the power has been shut off to this. And just to verify what's going on here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to go back out here and flip that breaker again. Okay, so turn it back on. And if we go inside now, you can see that we have 240 volts supplied to this dryer receptacle here. An easy find, an easy fix, but a mislabeled breaker can be a safety issue and it needs to be corrected. Now, anybody with any level of experience should know just by looking that this is incorrect. I knew as soon as I opened up the panel. However, that doesn't mean just because somebody without any experience shouldn't be messing around in here, doesn't mean they won't. So it needs to be labeled for them at the very least. Have a look at all this foot traffic damage on this roof. Brand new roof. Now I see this kind of stuff from time to time, and a little bit of it, I try not to make too big of a deal out of it. But this roof just looks terrible everywhere. This is damage to the shingles. I don't know if this person was walking around up here with baseball cleats on, or golf shoes, or high heels, but I can tell you right now they didn't have the proper footwear. Or maybe they had some sealant or caulking or solvent. I don't know what was on the bottom of their feet, but this isn't right. And this is not what you'd expect to find on a brand new roof. I can certainly tell you that they weren't wearing Brunt work boots, because you don't see me leaving footprints like this behind. These shoes have a great sole for walking on roofs, and I'm not having any trouble whatsoever, so they need to change their footwear. So I pretty much just started a warranty inspection on a house. I've barely been around it. But I was in the garage a second ago, and that's on the other side of the house, and I saw that there was the water heater, the tankless water heater there. Again, other side of the house. Now I'm on this side of the house, and I see these pipes. I'm very confused. At first glance, I would believe that this is going to be the drain pipes for the tankless water heater. One for the temperature and pressure relief, and then one for the condensation line. But if that's the case, they're entirely too high up, because they should terminate 6 inches from the ground. As I get in here closer, obviously they've run this one down. Then I start to realize that the ground is just saturated over here. And this is nowhere near the water heaters. And so the only thing I can believe is that these must be drain lines for the AC. Again, what a odd place to find this. The thing that concerns me most is that at least one of these I believe to possibly be the primary drain line. Either that, or water is filling up in the pan and coming out. This is the secondary drain line, which very well could be the case, because looking all around the house, and I do not see a secondary drain anywhere. Normally, the secondary drain would terminate just over a window, so that if any water was coming out of your secondary drain line, you would know about it. That way you could handle it before it becomes a problem. We're looking everywhere, and I don't see one. Now, as we're over here, this is where the ACs are located, and this is where the water heater is, just on the other side of this wall, and you can see the drain line for the water heater is right there. I'm going to keep investigating, but I'm going to tell you right now, something's not right. If these are secondary drains, then that means we have a clogged primary, and we have water filling up at the pan and coming out of the secondary drains. Not a good situation. If these are primary drains, they are supposed to be terminated to a waste receptor, not to the exterior of the property. Obviously, we are saturating the ground right here next to the foundation. Not a good thing. Now that we're up in the attic, we can see that the drain pan is completely dry, and we have the primary drain line and the secondary drain line both coming out right here and right through the side wall. This is just where I was when I found them, so definitely that primary line should be going to a waste receptor, and the secondary line should be going somewhere over a window, and neither one of those things is happening. Started inspecting an upstairs bathroom. One of the first things I did was plug my GFCI tester in the outlet, pop the GFCI. I didn't hear it click, but the lights and everything went off. And so I ran around the house looking for a GFCI reset. Two of the other bathrooms, everything was working just fine. Here in the master bathroom, we had the lights not working. And so I knew it was tied into here somewhere, but I've looked everywhere. There is one outlet right there. And then there was not one for over here. There should be one at both sinks. I didn't clue into it right away. It took me a little while to figure it out, but here's the deal. It's behind the damn mirror. Let's see if I can show you. There it is, back there. That wasn't a good idea. I'm doing a new construction home inspection. I've only been here a couple of minutes, but I found some things I want to show you, so check it out. Over here by the AC condenser here, and if you look down below where the line set runs into the house, we just have a gaping hole. Let me see if I can get my flashlight to show you exactly what's going on. You can see all the sheathing and everything. It's a massive hole where just about anything can crawl up in there. Mice, squirrels, raccoons. This is a pretty large hole. Just about any of those critters can get in there. Not to mention a whole bunch of insects. And then look at this. Guys, I just don't know how this happens, but we have the water heater flue right here. And as you can see, we're missing some masonry down here. And the same thing, we can see all of the sheathing and everything, just a big, huge gaping hole where anything can get inside the walls here. It's one thing to not seal up a hose bib sticking out of a wall or an outlet that's up underneath a patio on the siding and not have sealant around it, but these type of openings in the house are just ridiculous to have. And here's one more thing. Look at that hole. This massive hole here in the soffit. Again, an entry point for insects. I mean, I know we have a ventilated soffit, but this is a much larger opening than there should be. And obviously it just got damaged and they just put it up there anyway. And I just don't get that. I'm gonna show you one more thing at this water heater flue. Check this out. So here's the neighboring house. You can see they seal all the way around this thing here, right? This rubber like shroud. It's really a beauty ring. This is not where you're supposed to seal. This seal's always got to come loose. And over here on the house I was just at, it already has. I mean, you can see it's already starting to crack and everything. These are both new construction houses, both the same builder. But yeah, this is supposed to be sealed to the wall. That's not going to work. Where you should seal it is here, where it meets up, where the actual flue meets up with the wall. You should air seal that and then leave this on just for a beauty ring. But that should all be sealed up and you shouldn't have this gaping hole here. But I never find them done that way. They should be though. Look at this here. Look at the paint on this siding right here at the front of the house. Looks terrible. Let's go in for a closer look. There you go. Yeah, the can't see it from my house crew was up here doing the painting on this siding. Ridiculous. I guess what bothers me so bad about this stuff sometimes, because, I mean, who knows? Maybe they have intentions on coming over here and repainting that piece of flashing. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. How am I supposed to know? But I wouldn't want my customer to see that. I wouldn't want them to see the carelessness that the painter had when they came through here and did that. And so I would want it fixed absolutely immediately. Right here, we've got a fresh air intake system, as you can see, and it's set to run 15 minutes an hour. Here's the problem that I have with it. The power cord it's not plugged in, but I can tell when they didn't plug it in because they installed it. And when they installed it, they couldn't get the plug in between the framing and the unit itself. So they just decided to leave it unplugged. Good one. Right above it is that receptacle where it's supposed to be plugged in at. So they supply power to it, but you can't actually plug it in because the plug's stuck on the framing. And somebody just walked away with it like that. Just walked away with it like that. They don't care. Maybe it was this person. The person that left that, maybe, I don't know.